joined the UNESCO and the Arab League, which are among the organizations that attack great importance to preserving urban heritage. At the national level, the creation of decorates of culture, archaeological departments, municipalities as association to help and improve the protection of cultural heritage. Historical city development mechanism. This set of mechanisms has been implemented to develop the historical city, including in the first the development of the urban fabric. This depends on applying urban methods and techniques within the urban area in order to improve, organize, and develop its functions both now and also in the future. The renovation process, this involves making some repairs to some buildings. The restoration process is a process that allows for the repair of a group of buildings or of historical architectural value. The renovation process aims to improve and organize this area at the level of its components, and the restoration process involves interventions on streets and various other technical networks, including the installation of new equipment. For the conclusion, we can say the older urbanism of the Ksour plays an important role in defining the identity of the society inhabiting it due to its association with a group of natural, urban, social, and cultural characteristics. Therefore, it represents a national heritage that must be preserved despite the challenges it faced and the problems that hinder its development. The Sahel Ksour of the southern Algeria represent an important heritage value as they reflect the lifestyle of a society that contributes at the foundation of cultural civilization. Although these Ksour appear similar, each group of Ksour is distinguished from the others by different characteristics. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your presentation. Now, I would like the participant to ask questions if they have. Okay, there is a participant who says that she really would like or would appreciate if there were pictures in the presentation so that we can see the illustrations of what you presented to us. And by the way, thank you for the presentation. But if you have questions, dear participants, we'd be glad to get them. So about the picture as well, so it's a suggestion that comes from the participant. I think you can see that too.
Thank you.
Is there any question to the presenter? Okay, I think I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask about local communities, okay, of the area you've studied. What is the role of local communities or governmental policies, you know, the role they play in maintaining the urban identity of the Ksour, especially in light of increasing modernization and infrastructure development?
Thank you for your question. At the first, they trying to make some laws and legislation that make to help the protection of cultural heritage, but they call all just for papers. There is no something realizing a reality. We can say that the heritage in deterioration state now. There is just some rules and in the paper, that's we can say. But
okay,
if there is a real rule, no.
Okay, so you as a researcher, what do you suggest? Okay, basically, if I was from the government, what would you suggest me to do about these heritages?
I would suggest that the create and to improve awareness in the society. For example, create some research in the university, to create some reunions and some conference and make awareness in the university about the students and make reunions with the teachers with interested about the architecture heritage.
Thank you. And there is a quick question. We have two actually. What are the role of women actually? Because you yourself as an activist, I may say, in this field, what are the role of women in the policy-making process? A question asked by Dr. Qasim Abdi. So we can start by that one as fast as possible because we already are out of time.
The role of human, it's more important because it starts from the human. If the human makes something, it can be realized, and we can protect this heritage.
All right. So another last question I'm gonna take. Can you explain more about the environmental challenges in such project in this region? So what are the environmental challenges they're asking? One of our participants, Jana Ahmed, of course, Miss.
I didn't understand what you mean exactly.
No, actually not me. I'm just relying because there are some questions coming from the chat. Okay, I'm just relying. So you know, she's talking about climate related hazards. Okay, so I mean, can you explain more about the environmental challenge? Okay, if you see the environment, what are the challenges from the environment in this such project in this region?
In my research, I talked about the Ksour. This Ksour is situated in the Saharan area. This area is known about this climate is it's hot climate. That's about this. That's why these materials it's suffered from this climate. You can say.
Okay, basically. Okay, thank you. I think we're out of time, so we have to go for the next presenter. Thank you again for your answers, and thank you for other academicians who asked questions. So now I think that's gonna be the second presenter. It's yeah, Miss Esra Eken-Güney, who's going to present about architectural heritage of the Anatolian Selçuk in Konya, 3 mandras. Thank you. So you have the lead.
Sorry. Yes. Okay. Good morning. I'm Esra Eken-Güney from İzmir Selçuk University. Today I will make presentation titled as Architecture Heritage of the Anatolian Selçuks in Konya, focusing on 3 madrasas. First theme, madrasa is a place name derived from the root dirase, which means to read, understand, learn, and repeat a text in order to memorize it. Madrasas emerged as higher education institutions in Islamic countries. Before these educational institutions, education was provided in mosques and masjids, but over time they became inadequate. The madrasa emerged in in Mavera Nehir region in the 10th century, and many madrasas were built in this region by Karakanid, Ghaznavid, and Great Selçuk states. It later spread from this region towards Anatolia. The first madrasas are Nizamiye madrasas that have been constructed by Nizamülmülk in 11th century. As you can see, plan organization of the madrasas is shaped with student cells around a central courtyard, and the central axis on the courtyard and with large spaces called as ayvans in both sides. Today I will present 3 examples of madrasa architecture in Konya. As you can know, Konya has become the capital of Anatolian Selçuks and Great Selçuks. During their periods, the city was shaped around Alaaddin Tumulus, and lots of public buildings were also constructed around this tumulus. Here, the İnce Minareli Medrese, Karatay Medrese, and Sıçrı Medrese are located around Alaaddin Tumulus, forming a triangle in order to provide service to many different points of the city. The first example for madrasas in Konya is İnce Minareli Medrese. It was first constructed in 1265. including a minaret with 2 balconies. Due to deteriorations over time, the building was restored 2 times by Tahir Pasha. In 1319, upper level of the minaret was collapsed and it has not been reconstructed. So the remaining part of the minaret has survived to the present day. Architectural emphasis in the building is on the portal and the minaret. Main portal is located on the east facade and it includes lots of figures that formed by carving the stones. In the sections surrounding the entrance door, here, in this section surrounding the entrance door and continuing to the upper level of the portal, the inscription of the building is again placed in an ornamented way. When you pass through this pointed arch door, you reach the entrance A1 of the madrasa. Regarding minaret, it has cylindrical form and the upper part was constructed with bricks and covered with green tiles. However, the lower portion was constructed as stone masonry mass that have square plan. This part has also ornamentations formed by carving the stone. In terms of plan organization, the madrasa was constructed as single-story. There is a central courtyard covered with dome, the main A1 at west, entrance A1 at east, and student cells at north and south are open to this courtyard. There are also 2 spaces at both sides of the main A1. These spaces were designed as teacher rooms and like courtyard, they are also covered with dome. On the other hand, student cells are covered with barrel walls that formed with extension of the arch. Natural lighting for the cells are provided through the windows that are faced to the courtyard and the windows on the exterior walls. In the courtyard, there is a pool in the center and a water channel below the ground level was used to transfer water into the pool. As I mentioned, the courtyard is covered with dome, as you can see here. And transition from the walls to the dome was provided through these specific triangular elements called as pendentives. These elements were built with bricks like the dome, and dome was also ornamented with tiles. Natural lighting was provided through the lighthouse in the center of the dome. The building was built as stone masonry. Originally, cut stones were used only the portal and wall ends. Apart from these parts, walls were constructed with rough cut stone, as you can see here. However, during restoration works, some collapsed walls, for example here, were reconstructed with cut stone. Additionally, in the narthex part adjacent to the minaret, transparent material and some pillars were added during restoration works. Also, stone gargoyles were placed on the roof level to drain rainwater. The second building from Anatolian Selçuks is Karatay Medrese. It was built in 1251 and restored in 1954. You can see the view of the dome during restoration process. Today it's used as Museum of Tile Works. Like Ngimbi Medrese, Karatay Medrese has also monumental portal. In addition to the ornamentation, it also attracts with mukarnas formed by carving stones. Although the portals are generally located in the middle of east facades, in this building the portal is not central in the east facade. It's located at southeastern point. Like Ngimbi, Karatay Medrese has also dome-shaped plan, and it was built as single-story. Using tile in pendentives, domes, and the walls of the main A1 is more intense in Karatay Medrese. As I mentioned, there is not central entrance. The entrance port is located here. After passing through the entrance gate, the entrance A1 at southeast end is reached. The space is also covered with dome, like the courtyard. In addition to these 2 spaces, the teacher rooms on both sides of the main A1 in the west also have domes. Today, these rooms house the tombs of those who contribute to the contribution of the madrasas. On the other hand, student cells and the main A1 were covered with barrel walls, as you can see from the pictures. Like İnce Minareli, Karatay Medrese has also a pool in the courtyard, and it was surrounded by functional stone elements located in the ground. These elements may be designed to control the water level in the pool or to be used as fountains during that time. In 2006, a water pipe has found 1 meter below the ground in the main Avon, and it's presented to the visitors today thanks to a transparent element that covers this area. Walls of Karatay...
Excuse me,
okay.
ma'am. We have 5 minutes left. So
okay, thank you. Walls of Karatay Medrese were also constructed as stone masonry. However, timber lintels were also used in the walls, especially above the openings. On the other hand, cut stones were used especially in the portals and around door openings. Bricks were used only in the dome and in pendentives. The last medrese is Sırçalı Medrese. It was built in 1243 during the 17th century. Student cells have collapsed and the walls were reconstructed using mud bricks. During 18th century, however, these walls were again collapsed and the interior was reconstructed as brick masonry during 20th century. And the medrese was refunctioned as museum and exhibition hall. In Sırçalı Medrese, monumental portal is the most attractive element like other medreses. The portal is located in the middle of east facade and it reached to 9 meters height. In addition to the geometrical and botanical ornamentations, niches and Corinthian pillars were also observed in the portal. Unlike İnce Minareli and Karatay Medrese, Sırçalı Medrese was built as double-storied. The plan organization is shaped around central open courtyard. As you can see from the section drawing, the access from the outside to the courtyard consists of 3 stages. First, the entrance Avon is reached through the monumental door. From here, the semi-open portico is reached. This portico starts from the entrance, goes around in front of the student cells, and ends in the west where the main Avon is located. The main Avon was emphasized with the pointed arch and walls are ornamented with glazed tiles. Access to the upper floor was provided through the staircases located at north and south facade. The exterior facades of the walls were constructed as stone masonry using cut stone and rough cut stone. Cut stones have been used at east facade where the portal was located. On the other hand, inner facades of the walls were constructed as brick masonry during the restoration works, but the original space organization have been kept. While the depressed arches, called as Bursa Kemeri in literature, are seen along the ground level, they are replaced by pointed arches on the upper floor. When we compare the architectural features of these 3 medreses, all of them were built in the capital city of Konya during the most glorious period of the Anatolian Selçuk state. The Sırçalı Medrese differs from the other 2 medreses in that it has 2 floors and open courtyard. Additionally, bricks were used intensely in the walls in addition to the stone. İnce Minareli Medrese differs from the others, including a minaret, and intense usage of tiles isn't observed in this medrese. Monumental portals located at east facades are the common architectural elements in all buildings. And lastly, regarding current usage of the buildings, all of them were refunctioned as museum today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mom. Do we have questions, or actually a single question is going to be just fine because we have only 1 minute left. If you have, we'd be happy to get a question now. Thank you. Okay, I think that there is nothing coming through. So considering the current situation of this building as museum, okay, because they're a museum probably, of course.
Yes.
So what are the possible challenges that arise to prevent or to preserve this monument to stay as they are, or to live, let's say, live as long as possible? What are the challenges that are faced?
For using as museums?
Yeah, because this type of buildings, they are important actually for the nation as well, because people can go and can visit. And so, and of course, there are challenges that this type of building or construction face. So currently, what are the most known challenges that these building are facing or face? Of course, in Turkey, in Konya.
Actually, the main principle in conservation discipline, making the heritage as living heritage, and life should be going on in these buildings or area. But when we refunction them as museums, actually it's like a freezing them, because only some elements or some objects are exhibited here. And actually, this kind of activity can be made another place. So actually, it's limited the experience of the visitors with this building. So maybe
Okay.
I think the most important challenge for the refunctioning as museums is that.
Thank you very much. So now we can move forward for the next presentation. I think that's going to be Mr. Daniel bin Jeffrey, who is going to present about the solar waste management in Malaysia, sustainability, challenges, and solutions. Please, you have the word.
All right. Okay. If you can see my screen, I hope. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, sure, we can see.
All right. So, okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel bin Jeffrey. I'm a master's student in energy engineering in Izmir Khatib Chelbi. And today I'll be presenting on solar waste management in Malaysia, which is a growing but often overlooked challenge within our renewable energy transition. All right. So I would like to start my presentation by saying that it's common knowledge that solar is heralded as a key cornerstone of global decarbonization. And even in Malaysia, we have made impressive progress in solar PV adoption. In fact, in especially these 4 states, driven by falling costs and strong policy support, we have shown good numbers and increased capacity in recent years. But as early PV systems begin to reach their end of life, we face a critical question, which is what happens to solar waste? Because after all, this increase can be seen as a double-edged sword, because even though solar PV is key for renewable energy goals, an increase in end of life modules means that there might be a sustainability risk. So globally speaking, PV waste is projected to be exceeding 60 million tons. And even in Malaysia, we will also face significant volumes if we don't take proactive actions. So this brings me to my problem statement. Currently in Malaysia, solar waste is treated as general e-waste, which lacks the specific infrastructure and processes to handle PV module effectively. This leads to the improper disposal, which also leads to toxic leakage from materials like cadmium and lead. And this also means some economic losses from uncovered resources, such as silicon and silver from the PV modules. And without dedicated regulation and investments, we risk turning this clean energy solution, which is solar, into a future waste crisis, which is something that we don't want. So the research objectives for my study are 2 of these. The key aim is to explore whether or not it is economically and technologically viable in Malaysia to adopt high value recycling for PV waste. And secondly, I was trying to look into how we might be able to integrate PV waste into the existing e-waste framework, meaning that instead of starting from scratch, we would be able to maybe modify a bit so that PV can be so that PV will have its own section within the framework. And I tried to draw as much lessons from international leaders like Japan and the EU. Okay, so for this study, I used secondary data from 13 sources, including peer-reviewed articles, policy documents, and international frameworks. I also conducted a comparative analysis of different PV waste management strategies to identify what exactly might be the best in terms of Malaysia, in the context of Malaysia. I also reviewed some scenario modelings from, again, peer-reviewed articles to try to understand the scale of potential waste and its economic implications. Okay, which brings me to my first findings. In order to try to fix the situation, I needed to understand the current practices, the current situation of Malaysia. So apparently, Malaysia has done very well in promoting solar deployment since 2001, and the latest one was 2021 with a new policy. And there were several programs promoting solar deployment. But the waste management of PV just hasn't caught up yet. PV, like I said before, PV waste is lumped into general e-waste categories, which means that it also has no clear regulatory roadmap. And to top that, even e-waste regulations and management processes have their flaws. So this results in most panels being landfilled and losing both economic value and posing environmental risk, like I said before. Okay, so this slide is a concise timeline of policies and programs promoting solar PV in Malaysia. So as you can see, it started in 2001, and the latest one is 2022. In 2022, the National Energy Policy 2022-2040 was introduced by the Sustainable Environmental Development Association in Malaysia. Okay, and in this slide, I tried to shorten or simplify the e-waste management in Malaysia. So on the left, you can see that's a illustration of the flow of e-waste currently in Malaysia. And on the right, you can see it's a list of the 4 main problems that I found with the current management system. All right. Okay, this is my second key finding, which is the economic and environmental impact. So, like I said before, by 2050, PV waste could reach up to 481,000 tons in Malaysia. So, what can we do with this waste? So, the simple answer to it is high value recycling. So, economically speaking, high value recycling of PV waste could generate over 200 billion ringgit by 2050, and this is equivalent to 460 million US dollars. Also, it does help with preventing more than 700,000 tons of CO2 equivalent emissions, which is good for the environment. However, it's not all rainbows and candies, of course. Advanced recycling systems does need a very high startup cost, which may deter private sector's investments without government incentives. So even though this is the case, we can still see that long-term benefits clearly outweigh the costs if we act now. Okay, which you can see here. This is a table explaining the forecast of PV waste and potential value depending on specific scenarios. As you can see, there's cumulative waste mass, economic values, and carbon emission avoided from PV waste generated in 2050. These are scenarios dependent on a Wilbur distribution. Okay, so my last key finding is technological viability. Okay, we all know, it's hard. Let's say that it's hard to recycle solar panels. It's not simple because solar panels are very complex with multi-layered structures. So recycling them is one of the biggest challenge when it comes to the technology of recycling it is the main challenge when it comes to recycling solar PV waste. But there are some international technologies like the FRELP process, which is the full recovery end of life PV recycling process, and also some the hot knife method, which is currently being developed in Japan. These projects are not exactly in works, but it's currently being developed, and they show promise. So they show some promise by they promise that they can recover rates of over 90% of silicone and glass. They say that that's achievable. So it shows very good prospect. And if Malaysia could adopt or adapt these technologies over time, then Malaysia could be able to benefit from them as well. Okay, in this one you can see this on the left side is a illustration of full recovery end of life photovoltaic. There's one side for silicone based, and the other side is for thin film based. And on the left side is the hot knife method that separates solar cells from glass panels. So literally, as the name says, it's a process of separating the glass panel from the solar cell so that the glass can be almost 100%, 95% reused and recycled. And I also have to note that compared to the FRELP method, the hot knife method is much more cost effective. So if Malaysia is incapable of going for FRELP in the early stages, the hot knife method might be a good way to start. Okay, so policy integration. Okay, so this is also part of my findings actually. Like I said, rather than starting from scratch, Malaysia could try to modify its existing e-waste policies to include PV waste. So with that, extended producer responsibility is very important. It's key. What does this mean? It means that we hold the manufacturers accountable for end-of-life management, meaning that the people who produce solar cells or PV will have to collect their waste and handle them, because they are the ones with the proper expertise to handle that. So this is also done in Japan. It's clearly stated in its phase EOL end of life roadmap, and even the EU WEEE directive already states that this is their main goal, their main policy.
3 minutes ago.
All right, I'm almost done. Okay, so Malaysia is in its turning point. We can either become a regional leader in solar waste sustainability or maybe fall behind. There's only two options. The challenges are real. Policy gaps, there's lack of infrastructure, there's limited awareness in the public, but with public-private collaboration, R&D investment, and global partnerships, all that good stuff, we can transform solar waste into an opportunity. So in summary, Malaysia's solar energy success must be matched by responsible waste management. By learning from global leaders and investing in circular economy models, we can build a sustainable and economically beneficial recycling system. This isn't just a environmental responsibility, it's a chance to lead the region close to Malaysia in clean tech innovation. And based on my findings, here are some 4 key recommendations that I can give. First is to introduce EPR for PV manufacturers and importers. Invest in recycling infrastructure and R&D, raise public and industry awareness through campaigns, and build partnership across governments and industry for phased implementation. And lastly, this is the framework recommendation for PV waste that includes the current practice and proposed practice. Okay, so that's all for my presentation. I thank you for your time and your attention. I'm very honored to have presented this to fellow academicians with the same thirst for knowledge, and I hope that you learned something. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you very much. We already have some feedback from the listeners. One of them said, interesting research, very important for climate change mitigation. It's the same way for me, and it was a great presentation.
Thank you.
time management, and it was fine. I actually appreciate it. The
All right.
only the only thing actually I would it's not bad actually, but the background sometimes doesn't allow us to see the small
I see.
yeah, if possible in the future using a, you know, I can't say better, but a background that can help in that way would be great. But the presentation
All
was
right.
just fine. Yeah.
And then I had like a theme. I was like the backside was a solar panel and it was like moving around. I didn't think that it would be that messy, but okay. Okay, I'll take note of that.
It's okay. Thank you very much. But for me, I
All right.
have a question for 1 minute. So how can a country like Malaysia balance this high you know, startup cost of PV panels or PV recycling with the long-term sustainability, actually
Like I
with
said,
economic gains?
mhm. So like I said, since, as you know, Malaysia is a very small country and we don't have that, I mean, like our economy isn't as good as other people, but PV waste, the recycling process of PV waste is lowering. That's good. The cost is lowering, and the exchange of energy transition, just like recently, the president of Turkey went to Malaysia, and their main goal was to share knowledge on energy transition. So this is the way we need to have a collaboration between countries, and that's the only way that Malaysia can not fall behind compared to other countries when it comes to solar waste management.
Thank you very much. So if there is no question, if there are no more questions from the participants, we can pass or we can go forward for the next presenter. Is there any question?
I don't know how to quit the share. How do I quit sharing?
It's okay. When one comes, I think it's gonna kick you off, but you have
All right.
just close your presentation. It's gonna go.
All right. Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm not sharing anymore.
Okay. Thank you. So
Right,
we can
thank you.
go. Yeah, you're welcome. Now let's go for integrating nuclear and renewable energy in Egypt, insight from South Korea's industrial policies. Miss Menna Soliman, you have
I'm here.
the lead. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Menna Soliman. I am master student in Oturum Technical University in Ankara. Can you hear me? Okay, I'll share the screen.
Yeah, we can.
Yes. Now the screen, okay? Okay. My name is Menna Soliman. I am master student in Oturum Technical University in Ankara, and my research is a part of my thesis titled by Integrating Nuclear and Renewable Energy in Egypt, Insights from South Korea's Industrial Policy. Let's begin with, I want to start with the big picture of my research, starting with the problem. Actually, Egypt has faced a deep challenge characterized by supply defects attributed to its heavy dependence on fossil fuels and in the other side, the domestic demand keep rising. This is the problem. This created a weak situation or fragile situation in which power must be affordable, reliable, and clean. This is the trilemma. And as a response for this problem, the government initiated mega projects from renewable resources and nuclear to secure access to clean, sustainable energy. This is what the response for the problem, but our focus in our research, not what, the focus in our research, how. So, how to achieve this integration between renewable energy and nuclear energy, this is where industrial policy come in, grounded by economic and industrial policy theories. industrial policy acts like a guiding system or coordinating efforts across energy, economy, technology, and institutions. Without it, even the big project like we have here Binban solar plant, Adaba nuclear, Komombo solar plant, and Zafarana wind plant, all these projects, big projects. But we claim that without effective industrial policy or targeted strategic industrial policy, these projects not be effective. The focus is industrial policy based on theoretical background. Okay, so we asked a clear research question. The question here, how can industrial policy help Egypt in the integration between nuclear and renewable energy, taking South Korea as a model or effective model? To answer this question, we designed a comparative matrix depend on our analysis, descriptive analysis, designed the comparative matrix framed by 3 axes: economic feasibility, infrastructure and education and technology diffusion or innovation diffusion. The third axis is the institutions and regulatory framework in general. I used in my research secondary data drawn from global database, documents, reports, peer-reviewed academic papers. Our aim isn't copy or imitate the South Korea experience. Our aim to analyze this successful experience and extract clear gaps clear gaps and policy weaknesses in Egypt. Coordinated policies that incite Egypt to build its industrial policy or path towards this integration. This is a close look to our problem. This is economic instability and inflation. As mentioned before, Egypt moved from being an energy exporter to importer due to the problem in natural gas exploration. Energy production dropped from 16.7% in 2024. This isn't just economic issue, it's a government issue and strategic, because we have problem in here. Here we have problem in energy security. This is the decreasing in the production of energy. Also, we have a problem in economic situation due to inflation and removal of subsidies, and increasing also in energy costs of consumers, or for consumers, sorry. The third pillar is the environmental issue, because depending or heavy dependence on fossil fuels in Egypt, of course, increase carbon dioxide emissions, and this is called the energy trilemma, to get affordable, reliable, and clean energy. So, we know the rule. This is the plan that Egypt, as a response from Egypt, set strategy integrating sustainable energy strategy in 2035. Target, let me focus. Target in 2035 to increase the renewable energy to be 42% from the total energy production in Egypt, from 20% to 42%. This is, as we said, this is what government did or plan. Let me focus. Okay. Here is the big or the mega energy projects, the Bimben point. Yes. Bimben solar plant, which is the fourth. This is the 15 largest solar power plants in globally. Bimben solar plant is the fourth globally. Okay, and here is the Dab'a nuclear power plant. Here is the Komombo after Bimben, and here is the Zafarana wind plants. As I mentioned before, these mega projects need a set of a strategy to achieve the target of 42% of renewable and clean energy, generally according to integrated sustainable energy strategy 2035. So our tool, this is where industrial policy enters the story. Unlike isolated energy projects, industrial policy create a unified vision, coordinate financing, regulation, infrastructure, local capabilities in the right roadmap, as shown here in the figure. Yes. Industrial policy is the responsible to make the balance between supply and demand. That's our challenge in Egypt. We have defect supply and rising demand. This is the rule of industrial policy. How? By using these tools, technological process, supply infrastructure, human resources, financing, energy mix, governance, and research and development also. These tools used to go in the right way to get the target. Yes. Why we choose South Korea as a model? There is a Chinese proverb to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. Actually, South Korea coming back from the journey of success in nuclear power plants. So South Korea is the right model to take it in as a model in industrial policy or industrial policy driven energy transition. She started the journey. I wanted to maximize this. Okay. With the same problem in Egypt, resource scarcity and energy security needs focus on nuclear and renewable integration. That's the current stage we are here. Success to overcoming similar energy security vulnerabilities and technology gaps. South Korea started with the same problems or gaps in Egypt with low-tech science or fields. Our methodology, comparative metrics, depends or framed by three axes: economic feasibility. We ask, are investments viable, and do they support innovation? The second axis is infrastructure framework. We asking, are laws and regular framework generally helping or slowing the process of this integration? The third axis is infrastructure and education. Are systems in place to support advanced technology? Is there any grid modernization? Is grid readiness or ready to start to this integration? This is our questions. Okay. After that, we
I couldn't follow, but we have 1 minute left. If possible, we can go as fast as possible to end the presentation, please.
We trace the timeline of South Korea in the nuclear journey. This is clear in the Next slide. They started by purchasing capital equipment. Okay, first is imitation or just trying to imitate or copy. Second step, foreign technology licensing. They try to take the opportunity to deduction importing technology. Number three, indigenous research and development. They applied grants for research and development, tax credit for investing in research and development, and number four, advanced research and development. After that, exporting this technology. This is the main steps. From these steps from South Korea, we clarified the gaps of Egypt. In economic visibility, it's clear. Here, the numbers is speaking loudly here. Research and development spending in GDP 1.03%, but in South Korea 5.21. I don't go through all numbers, but I just focus on the notes. Egypt lacks a national innovation system specialized in energy technology or in energy industry because this is remain costly and there is a big or clear gap in investment in Egypt.
Yeah, time is over, by the way. If possible, you can just go to the conclusions, please.
Okay, the second gap, I almost finished. Technology diffusion depends on the same problem and investment. This is not updated. We see here, the second axis, institution and regulatory framework. There is fragmented institutions, and this is the big problem in Egypt. Fragmented institutions, no cohesion framework or regulatory framework. This is the axis, not important. Okay, and this is the steps of innovation in South Korea and comparison to Egypt. What's this side by side in this journey to find the policy or recommendation. This is our last recommendation in economic feasibility, raise research and development share of GDP, upgrade infrastructure, reform institution and regulatory framework, and this is also conclusion, but in steps. Okay, this is my reference. Thank you for your attention and sorry for passing my time.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think at this stage, if you have questions, you may ask to the presenter in private. You have that possibility, please. Now we have to go forward for the next presenter. That's gonna be Mr. Abdulrahman Ahmed Omar, who is working with Mr. Abdullahi Hassan Hussein and Sir Mehmet Çevik. Now, I think the presenter is gonna be Abdulrahman Ahmed Omar, who's gonna present on impact of rainfall variability on Shabelle River Basin. Please.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you hear me.
Yeah, morning.
Thank you so much. This is Abdullahi Hassan. I will present on behalf of Abdurrahman and I and the team all together. First of all, thank you very much for this great opportunity, and really we appreciate it to showcase our research and studies and in this platform. It's really appreciated and helpful, and hopefully after the presentation we expect the team members and any questions related that we can improve later on for our research in this stage. First of all, my name is Abdullah Hassan. I'm also a PhD student at the University for Peace, focusing mainly on the water governance and related to the blue economy and related issues. Our title today will be on impact of rainfall variabilities on the Shabelle River Basin. For those who may not know about Shabelle River Basin, is one of the transboundary river basins between Somalia and Ethiopia, and it's originated from Ethiopia highlands through the Somalia up to and through the Somali regions, including the Shabelle and Middle Shabelle, and it's one of the breadbasket and in the Somali issues, but also Ethiopia as well. So the Shabelle is a little bit a long river, which is less different climatic conditions, whereby and a lot of activities, including the livelihood of the communities along the Shabelle River basin. Both countries are heavily dependent on agriculture, livestock, and an issue. So the environmental issue on this basin is very critical and very important. We are focusing more on today's presentation, the impact of the rainfall variability. Because of due to climate change, we have seen for the last 30 years there is a lot of climatic variabilities and climate change on the river. Therefore,
8 minutes ago, I think we took a lot on that page, not just suggestions. So 8 minutes.
8 minutes?
Yeah, we have 8 minutes to go. If you can, thank you.
I will finish, yeah. So historically, that the rainfall and discharge data. So the research highlights significantly the river flow and with projections showcasing 80% degrees that been expanded and projected by 2035. So the challenges of the key I already mentioned is this is a river basin which supports critical and significantly for agriculture and domestic water supply in Somalia's central and southern regions. It is fellow depends mainly on the rainfall in Ethiopia during the Gu and their season. In Somalia there are 4 seasons. The Gu and their seasons are the rainy seasons, and the other 2 is the Jilal and the other 2 has no other rainfall. So the rainfall variability recent decades shows that significant variability due to climate oscillations like El Nino always happens, floods and droughts are more frequent in the area, human impacts such as the land degradations, the dam constructions. So this variability also causes flash floods and prolonged dry spells, creating food and water security in the region. And this is why we are focusing on this, and particularly titled to see the variability and how it's changed. We are using a methodology which is more on comprehensive and integrated approach, focusing more on the data sourcing, satellite rainfall data from the CHIRPS and the GBR, river discharge records from the FAO Swalim. There in Somalia, there is a full database developed by the FAO together with the government, but also we are looking about the Ethiopian Hydrological Services. Focusing the key stations along the river basins, which is the key towns like Beledweyne near the Ethiopia-Somali border, Johor, where the agricultural hub, and then Mahadawene, where the flood-prone protections have already been in place, but looking into account because of the civil war, some of the infrastructures also collapsed. So we are taking into account that way. So we are doing apart from that and soft data analytical techniques using different models and different techniques, trend tests, standardized and correlation analysis based on GIS-based remote sensing. So this is the river basin, Shabelle River Basin, and this is the map between the Shabelle and Juba, and both of them are from Ethiopia going through to Somalia up to the Indian Oceans. So declining rainfall and follow trends. If you look, maybe you can see that the upcoming figures, but there is a theory that if you look, there is a huge impact on the huge declines that you can see they follow how it trends from 2005, which is a base year, up to 2025, 35 projections. There is 80% reduction are expected in the river basin. This also will fully impact and significance. So we need to analyze how these variability change from time to time, both downstream part and also upstream part of the river. So if you look also, this is annual rainfall trends from 81 up to 2021 in selected monitoring stations that I clearly mentions, and you see a lot of changes are coming from down to now, particularly focused on our study area mainly from Somali part, which is Beledweyne, Johor, and the Mahadai. And you may find maybe there's a lot of change. So we need to fully focus on and see how these changes are. This is what we have done. I don't want to go in detail about because of the time, but we can have detailed information about the different stations, including the Beledweyne, which is annual rainfall declining to minus 2.1 millimeter per year, reflecting upstream rainfall reduction as well, but also upstream use of the water in terms of the irrigation and other things. But also Johor, there is also significant decline itself where the agricultural production are there and the water availability are the key and important. We have also this area frequency flooding, so we need to assessment this place how these are. Mahadai, where the key infrastructure are in place, also there is also a lot of reflection, minus 2.3 millimeter per year. This also increased demand for the water, both not only agriculture, but also livestock as well. So the impact of rainfall variability and upstream uses the water security threats, increase flood and drought risks, but also mainly focus on the transboundary challenges. So when I say water security threat, reduced stream flow threat is domestic water supply and agricultural productivity, which are the main uses. The increase, but also environmental water flow as well. So the increased flood and drought risk also is a change. We may have a rainfall today heavily not prepared by the infrastructure setup, but also it causes about a lot of floods. But in the recent coming months, you may find also drought exists. So this is what we found: variability causes flash floods during storms, prolonged dry spells, and impact food security. The most important also for thinking about the transboundary challenges, because the river is transboundary. So Ethiopian irrigation and damming reduce also downstream flow, complicating these water management corporations. So recommendation
4 minutes ago.
recommendation for the sustainable basin management to use integrated water resource management, integrated river basin management. We need to improve hydrological forecasting to get the data on time and timely, but also to focus more on Ethiopia and Somalia regional cooperation through IGAD or maybe through the member states. In a conclusion, rainfall variability and upstream water demand are significantly reducing the shallow river flow, creating water security, agricultural production, but also addressing these challenges require integrated data use, adaptive management, and strengthened transboundary operation. To ensure this sustainability is critical for mitigating drought and floods risk and supporting the livelihood depends on these vital water resources. So because of the time, I stop here. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Abdullah. Do we have questions or a question from the participants? If you do, please, you can just go forward. Thank you.
Abdullah,
Yes.
thank you for the presentation.
Thank you so much.
Can you start your camera?
Yeah, I can do it. Sorry, it's a Friday, so we don't do work.
No
Okay.
problem. Okay.
Nice to see you. Where is Abdurrahman?
Yeah, Abdurrahman in Saudi Arabia, so he's afraid because of the internet connections.
Okay. So since we still have 3 minutes actually for questions, okay, I would like to go with the question if there is no question coming from the participants. So what mechanism could improve cooperation between Somalia and Ethiopia on actually upstream water management? Because that's the topic. For these two countries, you know, sometimes there has been some, I don't want to say problem, but, you know, when we talk policy or politics. So what are possible cooperation that can, or mechanism that can be improved in that way?
Yeah, thanks so much. I think this is very critical and important question regarding to the water diplomacy and river basin management issue, in particular in transboundary context. So there is an ongoing efforts by the IGAD. IGAD is an intergovernmental and developmental organization which is a member of Somalia and Ethiopia, Kenya, and Djibouti, Sudan, Uganda, and the other members. So IGAD is doing like an IGAD regional water policy where they need to implement the international water law at the regional level, where they encourage and urge the member states to come together and to cooperate in their natural resources, particularly the water. So one of the key discussions is the cooperation between Somalia and Ethiopia in terms of the water use. There is not such yet a technical discussion between the two countries at the country level, but there is a regional discussion. Maybe we expect maybe next few years a country discussion will be on the grounds. But there is a political willingness between the two countries that they come together, not only cooperate in river basin water resources, but also other sharing and natural resource aspects as well. So this discussion is not on the table. And Ethiopia has developed river basin master plans, and they do a lot of upstream and development infrastructure, particularly dams and other things. While Somalia, due to the critical situation that they have, due to the long civil war, due to the government focus on other areas, including security. They don't focus much yet for the river basin. But with the international support and the efforts from the Ministry of Energy and Water Resources at the federal level, also and capacitating their staff to understand clearly negotiation skills and other things. And much document has been developed, including the assessment of the Chevelle River Basin water, how to use water, agriculture, industrial environment, all the things, and much has been raised before. So there is an ongoing effort done by the IGAD region, where the member states come together and discuss and the way forward for the transboundary Chevelle River Basin cooperation. So in our case, for a specific study, we recommend coming together regionally and discuss at the country level as well to address the critical water issue, but also to benefit a mutual and win-win situation for the two countries in the future. Thanks.
Thank you very much for details. I think one day when you come to power, we believe you're gonna have a lot of, quite a big job to do. Best wishes. And thank you for your presentation once more. Now we can move forward. If there is no more question, of course, time's up. So for the next presentation, we have Miss Ceren İbiş is going to present about gıda sektöründe sürdürülebilirlik ve yaşam döngüsü analizi. So if she's here, we can just
Yes,
move
I am
forward. Thank you.
here.
Yeah, good.
Videoyu açacağım. Paylaşılıyor mu acaba? Görünüyor mu?
Paylaşılıyor ama tam ekran değil. F5 basın açılır ya da aşağıda. Tam ekran. Tamam, güzel oldu.
Merhabalar, ben Ceren İbiş. Bu sunumu doçent doktor Nazlı Savlak'la beraber hazırladık. Bugün size sürdürülebilirlik nedir? Sürdürülebilir gıda, enerji tüketimi, atık su kullanımı, yaşam döngüsü analizi uygulamalarını anlatacağım. Sürdürülebilirlik kavramı son yılların en önemli konuları arasında karşımıza çıkmaktadır. Bilinçsiz tüketim sonucu hem doğal hem de yapay kaynaklarımız artık yok olmakla karşı karşıyadır. Tüm sektörler bu durumdan etkilendiği gibi gıda sektörü de bu konudan dolayı olumsuz etkilenmektedir. 1982 yılında Dünya Doğa Koruma Birliği Dünya Doğa Şartı belgesine sürdürülebilirlik kavramına ilk kez yer vermiştir. 1987 yılında da sürdürülebilir kalkınma kavramı dilimize Birleşmiş Milletler Dünya Çevre ve Kalkınma Komisyonu tarafından Ortak Geleceğimiz başlıklı Brundtland raporunda dilimize girmiştir. Bu raporda sürdürülebilirlik kalkınmayı çevresel, ekonomik ve sosyal konuların aynı anda ele alınması şeklinde tanımlamıştır. Yine aynı rapor sürdürülebilirlik kavramını da gelecek nesillerin ihtiyaçlarını karşılama yeteneğini tehlikeye atmadan bugünün ihtiyaçlarını karşılayan kalkınma şeklinde tanımlamıştır. Sürdürülebilirlik yaşam kalitesini düşürmeden düşünme tarzında değişiklik yapılması gerektiren bir kavram olarak karşımıza çıkar. Artık tüketim toplumu olmaktan çıkıp evrensel açıdan dayanışmayı temel alan bir çevresel yönetim, toplumsal sorumluluklar ve ekonomik çözümleri hedeflememiz gerekmektedir. Peki bu bağlamda ne yapabiliriz? Gıda sistemleriyle sürdürülebilirlik yakından ilişkili. Gelecekteki artan ve daha varlıklı nüfus talebinin ihtiyaçlarını karşılamak için üretimi arttırmalıyız. 2050 yılında %60 oranında gıda üretimimizi bizim arttırmamız gerekmektedir ki tüm dünyanın taleplerini karşılayalım. Yiyecek taleplerini karşılamamız lazım. Tabii ki bu bizim karşımıza belli bir sıkıntıları da çıkartıyor. Onları da biraz sonra değineceğiz. Şimdi gelecekteki artan ve daha varlıklı nüfusun talebinin ihtiyaçlarını karşılamak için Üretim arttırılmalı. Bu da kıt kaynaklar için rekabete yol açacaktır. Şimdi çevresel sürdürülebilirliğimiz var. Bunlar emisyonların azaltımı, enerji verimliliği, doğal kaynakların korunması, atıkların azaltımı gibi konuları kapsamaktadır. Ekonomik sürdürülebilirlik maliyet azaltımını ele alırken sosyal sürdürülebilirlik ise sağlık, güvenlik, eşitlik gibi alanları ilgilendirir. Peki sürdürülebilir gıda nedir? Üretim ve tüketim boyunca tüm aşamalarla ilgilidir. Dizayn ve Eglit yaptığı bir çalışmada sürdürülebilirlik gıda kavramını şöyle tanımlıyor. İnsan vücudu için sağlıklı, tercihen organik, üretimi sırasında çevreye zarar verilmemiş, çevreci ambalaja sahip ve bunlara ilave olarak gıda üretim sürecinde emek veren çalışanların insani koşullarda çalışabilecekleri ve adil şekilde emeklerinin karşılığını alabilecekleri bir süreçte üretilmiş ürünlerdir şeklinde sürdürülebilir gıdayı bu şekilde tanımlamışlar. Sürdürülebilir gıda zinciri kavramı ise üreticiden tüketiciye kadar zincir boyunca kar elde edilmesi, toplum için fayda sağlayan ve kalıcı olarak doğal kaynakların tüketilmemesi düşüncesinden hareketle belirli tarımsal uygulamaların yapılması, bu uygulamaların gıda maddelerine dönüştürülerek tüketicilere sunulması ve atıkların yönetilmesi aşamasına kadar birbirini takip eden koordineli faaliyetlerin tümüdür. Burada da görüyorsunuz zaten. Peki sürdürülebilir gıdada şunu yapmamız gerekir. Yemek sektöründe yapacaksak gıdaların mevsiminde olması çevre açısından büyük önem taşınıyor. Su ürünlerinde ise balık türlerinin tehlikeye girmemesi için gerekli yasalara uymamız gerekiyor. İhraç edilen farklı ürünler ülkelerden gelen, ithal edilen gıdalar hem maliyetli hem de çevreye zarar veriyor. Bu yüzden yerel yiyecekleri tercih etmek sürdürülebilirlik açısından çok önemlidir. Başka ne gibi uygulamalar yapabiliriz? Oluşturacağımız menünün %20'sinin organik olması ve yine %20'sinin vejetaryen yemeklerden oluşturulmasına dikkat etmeliyiz. İyi tarım uygulamalarıyla üretilmiş sebze, meyve, et, yumurta ve süt ürünleri kullanmalıyız. Adil ticaret sertifikası ürünler tercih etmeliyiz. Kafessiz, serbest dolaşan tavukların yumurtalarını kullanmalıyız ve MSC sertifikası ile üretilmiş deniz ürünlerini tercih etmeliyiz. Gıda sektöründe sürdürülebilirlik konuları şu şekilde ele alınıyor. Konuları şu şekilde: enerji tüketimi, atık yönetimi ve su kullanımı. Enerji tüketimi, enerji iki şekildedir. Birincisi yenilebilir enerji, birisi de yenilenemez enerjidir. Dünya olarak şu anda %87 enerji ihtiyacımızı biz yenilenemez enerji kaynaklarından karşılamaktayız. Nedir bu yenilenemez enerji kaynakları? Petrol, kömür, doğalgaz, bunlar yenilenemez enerji kaynaklarıdır. Bundan dolayı da enerjimiz de tükendiği için, bunlar da bir doğal kaynak olduğu için yenilenebilir, yani geri dönüşümlü enerji kaynaklarını kullanmamız gerekir. Bir işletmenin sürdürülebilir olması için enerji kaynağı olarak yenilebilir enerji kaynaklarını enerji ihtiyacını karşılar. Yenilebilir enerji kaynakları olarak da şunları tercih etmeliyiz: güneş enerjisi, rüzgar enerjisi, jeotermal, biyokitle ya da hidrojen enerjisi kullanırsak hem doğal kaynakların azaltılması hem de çevreyi de, hem doğal kaynaklar azalmaz hem de kaynaklarımızı daha iyi kullanmamıza neden olur. Şimdi bir araştırma yapılmış. Yemek sektöründe pişirildikten sonra dondurulan ürünlerin enerji tüketimleri incelenmiş. Sonuçlarda %17 daha düşük fosil yakıt tüketimi, %30 daha düşük su tüketimi ve %96 daha düşük ozon incelmesi ortaya çıkmış. Yani pişirip dondurduğumuz ürünler daha sürdürülebilir olduğu kanıtlanmıştır. Yine başka bir çalışmada yaşam döngüsü analizi yapılmış. Makarnanın farklı pişirme yöntemleri uygulanmış. Makarna pişiricilerde bir makarna pişiricilerde, bir de ocaklarda makarna pişirilmiş ve bu makarna pişiricisinin %60'a kadar enerji tasarrufu yaptığı, %38'e kadar da su tasarrufu yaptığı yine ispatlanmış. Yine enerjisini doğalgazdan alan ocaklarla elektrikli ocaklara göre tüketim açısından daha çevreci olduğu ispatlanmıştır. Yine farklı bir araştırmadaysa farklı yemek hazırlama seçeneklerini karbon ve enerji yönünden incelendiğinde fritöz, ızgara ve mikrodalga fırınların buharlı fırınlarla değiştirildiğinde %58 oranında enerji ve maliyet tasarrufu sağladığı ortaya koymuşlar. Yani buharlı
bu arada
fırınlar
3 dakikamız var sunum için. Hani sorularla.
tamamdır.
Sorular cevap.
Enerji tüketimini minimum seviyeye indirmek için ısıtma ve soğutmada termostat kullanmalıyız. Binanın ısı yalıtımı yapılmalı, çift cam kullanılmalı. Güneş enerjisi su ısıtma sistemleri uygulamalıyız. Depo, ofisler, tuvalet ve uygun koridor sensörleriyle aydınlatma yapmalıyız. Kağıt havlu yerine el tasarruflu el kurutma makinesini kullanmak gerekir. Atık yönetimi. Artan nüfusun ihtiyaçlarını karşılamak için 2050 yılına kadar gıda üretimin %60 oranında artacağını daha önceden söylemiştik. Bu da ve günümüzde üretilen gıdanın 1/3'ünden fazlası israf edilmektedir ya da kaybolmaktadır. Gıda kaybı hasattan işleme aşamalarına kadar yenilebilir gıda kütlesindeki azalmayı ifade eder. Gıda israfı ise gıdaların tüketici düzeyinde azaltılmasını ifade eder. Ayrıca bozulma yoluyla kaybedilen gıda demektir. Atık yönetiminde sıvı atıklar genelde yemeklik yağları olarak karşımıza çıkar. Atık yemeklik yağlardan üretilen biyodüzelin fosil yakıtlardan üretilen biyodüzele kıyasla daha düşük çevresel zararlara sahip olduğu bildirilmiştir. Su kullanımı, su var oldukça insanlık var olacaktır. Su artık normalde bir döngü içerisindedir ancak hava durumu değiştiği için artık suyun da suyun bitme tehlikesiyle karşı karşıyayız. Yaşam döngüsü analizi. Sürdürülebilirlik alanında birçok yöntem bulunmaktadır ama dünyada kabul görmüş ve en kapsamlı ve güvenilir
Online sessions.
En kapsamlı ve güvenilir metot yaşam döngüsü analizidir. Yaşam döngüsü analizi bir ürünün tüm hayatı boyunca oluşan ve oluşacak çevresel etkilerin incelenmesidir ve bu üretimden kaynaklanan çevresel etkilerin azaltılması için önerilerde bulunur. Yaşam döngüsü analizi ekonomik ve sosyal etkileri incelememektedir. Sadece ürünün çevresel etkilerini incelemektedir. Bu çevresel etkiler nedir? İklim değişikliği, stratosferik ozon tabakasındaki incelme, ötrifikasyon, asitifikasyon, toksik emisyonlar gibi doğal kaynak tüketimi bazılarında değerlendirilir.
Son bir dakika.
Tamamdır. Baldwin ve arkadaşları restoranda bir çalışma yapmışlar. Bu çalışmada şuradan anlatayım. Bir restoranı 4'e bölmüşler. Tedarik, depolama, gıda hazırlama ve operasyonel destekler. Bunları yaşam döngüsü analizindeki çevreye etkilerini araştırmışlar. Eğer tedarik sisteminde yaşam döngüsü analizi kullanılırsa şurada gördüğünüz gibi solunum inorganikleri, iklim değişikliği, arazi kullanımı ve asitleşme ötrifikasyonda olumlu sonuçlar elde edilmiş. Operasyonel destekte de aynı şekilde kanserojenler, ekotoksisite ve fosil yakıtlarda olumlu sonuçlar alınmıştır. Yine bir başka yapılan bir çalışmada eğer ben depo yapmazsam yani satın aldığım gıdaların %7'sini azalttığımda yine çevresel etkilere olumlu olarak yansımaktadır. Yine restoranımda ben %25 oranında organik ürünler tercih edersem yine çevresel olarak olumlu sonuçlar elde etmekteyim. Eğer gıdamı ben mevsime uygun olarak tercih edersem, yakın yerlerden tercih edersem nakliye olmayacak. Nakliye olmadığı için de çevreye kirlilik olmayacak.
süremiz bitmiştir. Olabildiğince şey yapalım. Hani sonuç
Tamam.
kısmına bir geçelim.
Yine %7 oranında çevresel etkileri azalttığı görülmüştür. Şuradan devam edelim. Şöyle çolak güneş şeftali püresinden bir yöntem incelenmiş. Burada karbon ayak izinin ve su ayak izinin yine azaldığı görülmüştür. Sonuç olarak giderek sanayileşen dünyamızda kırılma noktası olan sanayi devriminin etkileri çevre üzerinde gösterilmesiyle birlikte birçok çevresel problem ortaya çıkmıştır. Son yıllarda sera gazının etkisi, ozon tabakasının zarar görmesi, sulara bırakılan kimyasal maddeler ve katı atıklar gibi olumsuz etkiler dünya gündeminde. Yaşanan çevrenin daha temiz olması için ortaya çıkan atıkların kontrol altına alınması, kalkınma politikalarının hedefe ulaşacak şekilde organize edilmesi ve sürdürülebilirlik konusunda toplum bilincinin oluşturulması gerekmektedir. Teşekkürler.
Biz teşekkür ederiz. Sadece sorular için zaman pek kalmadı. Neyse.
Evet.
Şimdi ama bir dakika rica edebiliriz. Tabii alabiliriz sorular varsa. Soru varsa dinleyicilerden bir soru olsun. Yeterli olur. Bir saniye
Abdullah
burada.
Hocam merhaba.
Mehmet Hocam merhabalar, nasılsınız?
Teşekkür ederim. Siz nasılsınız?
İyiyim, teşekkür ederim. Çok sağ olun. Hem organizasyon için hem de burada denk geldik. Çok güzel oldu. Ben bölmek istememiştim en başta.
Sağ olun. Ben de baktım bitti en son kapanış. Selam vereyim dedim. Teşekkür ederiz katkınız, desteğiniz, katılımınız için.
Sağ olun. Biraz zaman problemi yaşadık ama Ceren her şeyi anlatmak istedi. Biraz
Olsun.
zamanı
Evet.
yaşadık.
Tamam, soru yok galiba. Ben çok kısa bir şey meraktan şimdi sormak istedim. Çalışma önemli, hani insan hayatında önemli çalışmalar bunlar. Ama yaşam döngüsünde hani bu analizde ya da bu çalışmada böyle az olsa da bir değerlendirme, hani özgün bir değerlendirme yapıldı mı? Yani çünkü ben dikkat ettim ama bulamadım aslında böyle dikkatimi çeken böyle kendi çalışmanız kapsam, kendinizin
Evet.
katkınız asıl.
Bizim kendi uygulamalı bir araştırmamızdan bahsediyorsunuz sanırım, değil mi?
Doğrudur. Tabii az olsa da bulunması tabii
Evet, evet.
bizim bilim camiasında bekleniyor.
Öyle ancak öyle bir vaktimiz olamadı. Ceren öğrencim tezinin son aşamasında ve şu anda laboratuvarda çok yoğun bir şekilde çalışıyor. Ama bunu seminer konusu olarak da toparlamıştı. Çok yoğun üzerinde çalıştığı bir konuydu. Bunun bir uygulamasını ilerleyen zamanlarda tezi bitse bile hani bir yapmayı düşünüyoruz, aslında istiyoruz. Buraya yetişemedi. Yoğun bir programdaydı. Bu kısma yetişmedi. Bunu daha çok bir derleme gibi araştırma çalışmalarını ortaya koymak adına düşündük.
Tamam, teşekkür ederiz. Rica edeceğiz katılımcılardan fotoğraf, resim çektirmek istiyoruz. Hani anı olsun ya da hatıra olsun hepimiz için. Would like to participants to please, if possible, turn on their cameras so that we can take a picture
Ceren sunumunu
for the record.
kapatabilirsin. Ha.
Tamam.
Abdullah, can you start your camera? Daniel. Ahmet Hocam orada mısınız?
Mr. Daniel Bin Jeffrey, are you there?
Alif, are you taking the photo?
Yeah, I'm taking right now. Okay, thank you very much. So I think our session is over, and I thank you all for your participation, your questions, and you being here is a great pleasure for us. I wish we meet in the near future for the next Congress or maybe in other sessions. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you.